if someone doesn't get out of your head all the time, there's a reason. And no, this is not random. It may even seem crazy, exaggerated, or something in your head. But what if I told you that thinking a lot about someone, that thought that doesn't let go of you at all, is no coincidence? And more, that this has absolutely nothing to do with romantic love, destiny, or simple longing. That's that. You are about to discover one of the most hidden, ignored and, at the same time, most impactful secrets of the spiritual and energetic world. If you've been asking yourself, almost daily, why don't I stop thinking about someone, I assure you, there is a very specific reason. And no, it's not just because you like that person a lot. There is something much deeper at work behind these incessant thoughts. And you know what's more shocking? Most of the time, those who feel this do not even imagine that they are living trapped inside a karmic cycle, surrounded by energetic cords that suck your energy without you realizing it. The great truth is that no one taught you that. No one has explained to you that when there is an unresolved spiritual connection, a connection of souls with pending issues, wounds, broken promises, or uncut spiritual ties, your mind becomes hostage to that invisible connection. And, without understanding it, you keep repeating the same cycle, day after day, without knowing how to rescue your energy and, above all, without knowing how to free yourself. And look, if you think that this will pass on its own, that time heals everything. I'm sorry, but that's a lie you've been told. Because as long as you don't understand what's really going on behind the scenes of this connection, as long as you don't clean, heal, and break the bonds that bind you, that person will continue to live in your head, and, even worse, in your energy field. So, if you're willing, or rather, if you're ready to understand once and for all the real reason you can't stop thinking about someone, stay with me until the end, because I'm going to reveal to you exactly how this hidden dynamic works. And, most importantly, I will show you how you can, even today, start to free yourself and rescue your energy back to you. You know that moment when you just can't stop thinking about someone too much? That's that. As much as the mind tries to find a logical explanation, there is something much bigger going on behind the scenes of life. The universe does not work with luck or coincidences, it operates with synchronicities. It's as if every thought, every sensation, is a flashing sign, saying, hey, pay attention, there's something here to be seen. And when that happens, it's not just nostalgia or neediness, no. There is a spiritual connection acting, pulling you, calling you, provoking you. Sometimes, life puts this person in your head not to torture you, but to remind you that there is a connection of souls that cannot, and should not, be ignored. And between us, whoever has never experienced this, cast the first stone. The truth is that these constant thoughts function as notifications from the universe. You know that cell phone vibrating non-stop in your pocket? That's more or less it. But in this case, what vibrates is your energy, showing that there are active spiritual ties. And, look, they don't come out of nowhere. It has a very specific reason, and I assure you, it's not by chance. So when you find yourself thinking, why don't I stop thinking about someone, you can be sure that it's not just in your head. There is an energy field operating, an exchange of information invisible to the eye, but totally perceptible to those who begin to connect with themselves. And between us, ignoring this only makes the cycle repeat itself. By the way, if you think that this will unravel on its own, I'm sorry to tell you, you're wrong. This type of connection is not just emotional, it is energetic, spiritual, and often supported by energetic cords that you don't even notice, but that are active all the time. And you know what? This is just the beginning to understand everything that is going on. Have you ever wondered why, even after months, or even years, that person still appears in your mind out of nowhere? That's that. This is not just nostalgia, no. These are the famous energetic cords. Whenever we connect deeply with someone, whether through love, pain, anger, or passion, these invisible threads form. They create an energetic bridge that keeps that connection alive, even if you are miles apart. And look, these cords are more common than you might think. They are created in any relationship that generates a strong emotional impact, whether with an ex, a friend, a family member, or even someone with whom you had a brief but intense involvement. So, when that "why don't I stop thinking about someone" hits, you can bet that the connection is firm, active, and pulsating. To give you an idea, think of energy cords as spiritual internet cables. As long as the cable is plugged in, the exchange of data, or rather, energy, continues. You feel the person, and the person often feels you. And you know that discomfort, that longing without explanation, or even that restlessness that appears out of nowhere. Bingo! It is a clear sign that the spiritual bonds are vibrating strongly. And the most curious. These cables don't always transmit only good stuff. If the connection is based on hurts, traumas or pain, the energetic flow becomes heavy, dense. That's when that strange sensation arises, that tightness in your chest, that inexplicable desire to rescue my energy, because you feel that something of yours is stuck there, on the other side of that invisible thread. The problem is that the more we ignore these signals, the stronger they get. Because the universe has a very peculiar way of saying, "Hey, look at this, you can't just pretend it's not happening." And if you think that's all, get ready, because when you think of someone, it's not just you who feels it. There's more going on there. Do you know that moment when, out of nowhere, a strange feeling hits, a memory, a desire to check if that person is okay? That's that. It's no coincidence. That's energy in motion. The connection of souls knows no distance, no clock. When you find yourself thinking a lot about someone, there's a huge chance that they're also connecting with you right away, even if unconsciously. And look, there's no mystery here. It is as if the mind and heart were spiritual antennas, picking up and emitting signals all the time. Has it ever happened to you to dream about someone and, the next day, that person sends you a message? Or thinking about her and, out of nowhere, coming across a post, a song, or even meeting her on the street? This, my friend, is the magic of spiritual connection acting in practice. This two-way street is held up by energetic cords that keep you energetically connected. And the stronger the bond, the more intense the sensations. That's why that question that haunts you, "Why don't I stop thinking about someone?" doesn't always come only from you. Often, it is also the echo of her thought, crossing subtle planes and reaching you. And for us, this is not always light, right? Sometimes, there is that feeling of anxiety, of tightness in the chest, of restlessness that does not go away. This is the karmic cycle manifesting, reminding you that there are unfinished business between you. It's as if the universe said, "Look. As long as this is not seen, it will not leave." So, the next time this person comes to your mind insistently, don't rush to think that it's just lack or imagination. Often, she feels you, looks for you, pulls you, and you, without realizing it, also do the same. But calm down. That's just part of the story. Because when these thoughts get too intense, they may be showing something even deeper. If there's one thing that few people tell you, it's that when you just can't get someone out of your head, it can be much more than longing or desire. In fact, it is a very clear sign that there is an unfinished karmic cycle between you. And look. These cycles are not broken with a simple, "let it go." They come loaded with lessons, pending issues, pains, learnings and cures that need, in one way or another, to be faced. Want an example? Imagine a couple who lived a relationship full of promises, wounds and mismatches. Years passed, each one went on with their lives. But even so, from time to time, one invades the other's thoughts for no apparent reason. Well, this is the karmic cycle giving that touch. Hey, there's something here that was unresolved. And if you've been wondering, why don't I stop thinking about someone, you can bet, this cycle is pulsing strongly. These cycles are formed when, in past lives or in the current life itself, there were unfulfilled promises, open wounds, or even situations that remained in the famous, later we will solve it. The problem is that this after arrives. And it arrives precisely in the form of this spiritual obsession, this connection that stubbornly does not go away, these spiritual ties that often suffocate more than they nourish. And the curious thing is that these pending issues are not always conscious. Sometimes, you don't even know exactly what needs to be healed. He only feels that anguish, that restlessness, that almost desperate desire to rescue his energy and, finally, free himself. And look. This does not happen by ignoring, no. Life forces you to look, understand, accept and, often, forgive. Now. If you think this is heavy, just wait to understand when these cycles come from past lives, from souls with pending issues, from connections that cross time, space and even oblivion. Because then, my friend, the thing gets even deeper and more intense. Do you know that feeling that, no matter how much time passes, that person continues to cross you inside? That's that. Often, this goes far beyond this life. It is the clear sign that you are souls with unfinished business, caught in a plot that spans lives, centuries, and histories. And, look. It doesn't matter if you met yesterday or 10 years ago. When there is a connection of souls of this type, there is no distance, there is no forgetfulness, there is no logic that can handle it. And these bonds are not born for nothing. It may have been a promise made in another life, an interrupted love, an unforgiven betrayal, or even spiritual agreement signed back then, when both of them did not even dream of being in this current existence. And the craziest? These agreements remain active until they are resignified, fulfilled or released. And, yes, that explains very well that recurring thought that makes you ask, why don't I stop thinking about someone? It is as if you have left doors open in the past, and now those doors are still wide open on the spiritual plane. Therefore, that discomfort, that spiritual obsession that invades you sometimes, is not only emotional. It's energetic. It's the energetic chords pulsating, keeping you connected, in an almost desperate attempt by the universe to say, are we going to solve this once and for all? And look. Solving does not necessarily mean getting back together, staying together, or chasing. Sometimes it means to forgive. Other times, it means forgiving yourself. It can be freeing, cutting ties, being grateful for what was, honoring history, and move on. There are spiritual practices for this, such as energy rescue meditation, prayers of liberation and even cord-cutting rituals, all very powerful for those who feel that they are living this cycle. But you know what's more intriguing? When this connection is not looked at, it is not healed, it begins to transform. That longing turns into tightness. The memory turns into anxiety. And suddenly, without realizing it, thinking too much about someone is no longer a call of the soul, and begins to turn into an energetic prison. And that's when things start to get really dense. Do you know that point where thinking a lot about someone no longer has that taste of beautiful connection, but rather a weight, an anxiety, an endless agony? That's that. When this happens, my friend, you can be sure, the thing has already ceased to be a healthy soul connection and has become a true spiritual obsession. And, look. This is not just emotional discomfort. It is a sign that there is an energetic prison holding you back, draining your energy, preventing you from going light. And this is exactly where many get lost. They get stuck in this loop of thoughts, wake up with the person in their heads, spend the day trying to distract themselves, but it comes back. And it comes back at night, in the morning, in the shower, at work, in traffic. And that question hammers mercilessly: why don't I stop thinking about someone? The problem is that, at this stage, it's no longer just thinking, it's energy dependence. Want a clear sign? You start to feel like you no longer have control over it. Life stops, projects get stuck, energy disappears, mood fluctuates, and even the body feels it: insomnia, tiredness, anxiety, tightness in the chest, lack of focus. It's as if that energetic cord that used to connect you, now starts to hang you, suck you, trap you in a suffocating karmic cycle. And, of course, at this point, you can no longer ignore it. The soul itself begins to scream, rescue your energy. Break free. This is not love, it is imprisonment. And here comes a point that many people make mistakes, thinking that they are only free if the other changes, comes back, apologizes or assumes something. And no, it's not about the other. It's about you. About your choice to cut these spiritual ties and free yourself from this suffering. Because, if you don't, the universe finds a way to shake you up. And, for us, when he decides to shake you, he doesn't have much delicacy, no. And guess what? All this tightness, this pain, this restlessness, they are not there for nothing. It's your own soul trying, in every way, to send you a very clear message. And you will understand exactly what it is. Do you know that feeling that doesn't leave your chest, that restlessness that seems to swallow you? That's that. This is not just anxiety, no. In fact, it is your own soul trying to warn you, to nudge you, to awaken you. When thinking too much about someone becomes something almost uncontrollable, it is as if their essence screams, wake up. Look at this. There is something here that you need to understand, heal or close. And, between us, ignoring this call never ends well. The most curious thing is that, at this stage, the signs multiply. It's music that plays out of nowhere and reminds you of the person. It's her name that appears in the book, in the series, on the license plate. It's that message that doesn't arrive, but that, energetically, you feel as if it were at your door, knocking and saying, we need to talk. And it's not just a connection of souls. It's your whole life calling you to rescue your energy. And look, there's a detail that few tell you. When you don't listen, the universe tightens. Anguish grows, tiredness increases, thoughts become obsessive. It's spiritual obsession manifesting in your life like a flashing red alert: hey, no more belly pushing, let's get this done. And, at this moment, understanding that there are active spiritual ties makes all the difference. So, if you feel that you are living this turmoil, understand, it is not punishment, nor bad luck, nor bad karma simply. It's opportunity. That's right. Opportunity to end cycles, clean energetic cords, free yourself from this karmic cycle and, above all, regain your own strength. Because, yes, it's time to stop donating energy to those who are no longer vibrating at the same frequency. So, you may be wondering, okay, but how do I do that? How do I cut this invisible thread that binds me, that pulls me, that sucks me? That's that. There is a way, and it is not only possible, but it is totally liberating. And if you think it's going to be difficult, just wait to find out how much simpler it can be than you think. Now that you understand that this connection is not something in your head, comes the best part. Yes, it is possible to cut these energetic cords, end karmic cycles, and, finally, rescue your energy. And no, you don't have to be a Tibetan monk for that. There are very powerful spiritual practices and, believe me, anyone can apply them. It all starts when you consciously choose to free your soul from these spiritual ties that bind you. Want a practical path? Begin with the prayer of deliverance. There are very powerful versions, such as Saint Germain's prayer of cutting energetic ties, which acts directly on the cords that connect you to this person. Another amazing tool is Ho'oponopono, that famous Hawaiian mantra of healing and forgiveness that you can use by repeating, "I'm sorry, forgive me, I love you, I'm grateful," mentalizing the person and releasing everything that no longer serves you. In addition, guided meditations are a real balm for the soul. There are several specific ones for cutting cords, energetic cleansing, and rescuing your energy. And look, do not underestimate the power of spiritual decrees. Phrases such as, "I cancel, delete and transmute any and all energetic ties that no longer belong to me," function as quantum codes that realign your frequency. Oh, and of course, we cannot forget energy forgiveness. And here's a truth that may hurt: often, what holds you back is not love, it's hurt. Therefore, forgiveness is not about agreeing with what they have done to you, but rather about freeing your own soul from this karmic cycle. And, look, the feeling of lightness that comes after is priceless. And you know what's more magical? When you start this process, you notice that obsessive thought disappears. That anguish dissolves. That question that tormented you, "Why don't I stop thinking about someone?" simply loses its meaning. Because, suddenly, you look in the mirror and realize, "Wait a minute. My energy came back. I rescued myself. And now, I am the one who controls my life." Your mind is not broken. It's your soul remembering. Comment, "I claim my energy back," to free yourself. Now answer me, from the heart. How long has it been since you realized that you are stuck in this cycle? How long has this person lived in your head, in your chest, in your energy field, draining your peace, sucking your energy, preventing you from living light, full, whole? The big question that remains is, how long are you going to let this happen? How long will you continue to ignore the call of your own soul, which is begging you, screaming at you? Rescue your energy, now. You have two choices from here: pretend you didn't hear anything I showed you today, or, finally, take the reins of your own life, break these energetic cords, end this karmic cycle and free yourself once and for all. And between us, what will you choose? Because, if there's one thing that life has shown you, it's that ignoring this type of sign only makes the pain grow, the weight increases, and the suffering repeats itself. By the way, tell me here in the comments. Who is this person who can't get out of your head? What ties do you feel still bind you? Do you realize that there is a spiritual connection there? Are you souls with unfinished business? Let's exchange this idea, because just talking about it, a lot of things start to unlock in the energy field. And look, if you want to continue learning about how this invisible, but extremely real, universe of spiritual connections, energetic ties, karmic cycles and how to rescue your energy works, subscribe here to the channel, activate notifications, and stay on top of upcoming videos. Because, yes, I'm going to show you how you can free yourself from all this and live light, free and owner of your own energy. Then answer me. Are you ready to, once and for all, free yourself? Or will you continue to carry a weight that was never yours?